This happened not too long ago when I was 26. Being older, Halloween hadn't been that big of a deal to me for probably a decade. It was sort of just another day to me. This year, I had most of the day off, but worked overnight from 10 to 6 a.m. I was a stalker for a local grocery store, so most nights were quiet, where I just work alone and at my own pace. By the time I left the house, the streets and sidewalks were already empty. No trick-or-treaters running around. However, when I parked and walked up to unlock the door and let myself in, I saw a couple of people around the side of the building in costumes. Didn't think much of it. Maybe some people just meeting up for whatever reason. I went in and relocked the doors, then started working. I was moving between the back warehouse and the aisles, stocking the shelves, and doing all the usual. It really wasn't too long into my shift when I thought I heard someone say something outside the store. I went up to the front and saw that same group of people. They were close to the front windows, looking like maybe they were walking around. For reference, the store sat alone in a massive parking lot. There were some other buildings near it, but all unoccupied. So really the only reason to be in this parking lot was for the grocery store I worked at, but obviously we weren't open. I stayed near the front and kept an eye on them. They passed by and were gone for 10 minutes before coming back around. I wish I could have seen more of what they were actually doing, but the costumes they had on made it hard to tell if they were looking inside the store windows or just standing near them. Either way, it was weird that they were hanging around here for so long and for no reason. Couldn't see why they didn't walk around somewhere else. Eventually, I had to get back to working in other parts of the store, so I left the front. An hour or so went by. I'd been moving through the aisles, filling the shelves, and having one earbud in to listen to music while I worked. I was in one of the end aisles, far from the front, when I heard a knock at the door. It was 3 loud bangs against the glass. It startled me, but I quickly ran up to the front of the store to see who it was. I immediately saw the 4 guys in costumes standing grouped up at the front, facing the window I was behind. I knew they saw me and were clearly looking at me. I walked up closer and yelled through the glass, asking what they needed. As I stood there, I very quickly noticed none of them had bags or pillowcases for trick-or-treating. It would have been weird if they were still trick-or-treating at this time of night, let alone trying to at a closed grocery store. But at least they would have shown me that they might have been earlier, which would explain the costumes. Now, it seemed like they were just wearing costumes to hide who they were. Not a single one of their faces was visible, and none of them responded. They just stood there looking at me. I got really uncomfortable, but thought this could all be some Halloween prank, and honestly, wasn't worth my time. I left and went back to the aisle I was in before. I still felt really weird about it, but held on to the idea that they were just doing something stupid to mess with me. Maybe they saw me walking inside earlier and thought it'd be funny, but it very quickly went much further than a simple joke. It wasn't 2 minutes later that there was an insanely loud thud against the glass at the front of the store. And before I could even make it to the end of the aisle to look, a second, even louder thud hit the glass and was followed by what sounded like the door crashing open. I froze, hearing footsteps running in. I turned and sprinted to the back of the store. I was so scared I didn't even grab my bag that had my keys and wallet in it. I just sprinted straight out the back door, going to the road and continuing to run. When I had a chance to breathe, I called the police. By then, everyone was gone. We did have security footage though, showing exactly what happened, but it really didn't give any information that I didn't already know. The guys were hanging around outside the store for a couple of hours and then smashed something against the door to break it open. They immediately ran in and were looking for me, which was the most horrifying part. They searched everywhere, one of them even having run to the back of the store and looked for me just 15 seconds after I got away. Had he seen me, the whole group might have chased me down the road and things might have not ended so well for me. Ultimately, that was where things left off. What the group was actually wanting to do, and all the other questions I have, remain unknown.
I live on a large property in California. We have lots of animals and honestly it's a beautiful place, but at night it's a different story. There are also some renters in a house out back, which used to be a barn. We've all experienced something creepy or paranormal here, but this night still haunts me. A lot of times I stayed on the property with the renter's son, Aiden. My dad and brothers would go out of town throughout the week to work. Aiden's mom would leave every other week to go work out of town as well, meaning Aiden and myself would stay and take care of the animals or do chores if we weren't in school. It was around September of last year when this occurred. School got off at 3:30, but Aiden and I would take the bus home, so we'd get to the house at around 4 to 4:10. On this day, we got home starving, so we went inside to make some food, then outside to do our chores. By that time, it must have been around 6:30. After working for a bit, Aiden went inside to go play video games while I stayed to clean the horses. Time flew by, and I remember looking at my phone when I was done and reading 9:46 p.m. I hurried to feed the animals and clean out their waters. I was in the middle of cleaning one of the waters when I got the chills. I felt someone watching me. Creeped out, I looked up to check my surroundings, but like always, I didn't see anything. I took a seat on some bales of hay while I let the water fill up. I was playing on my phone and spaced out for a few minutes, but snapped back to reality when I heard the water spilling. Just as I looked up to see it, I felt a sharp chill go up my back. In the distance, I saw a dark figure crouched behind a tree on our fence line, looking straight in my direction. When I saw it, the first thing that came to my mind was that it was Aiden for sure. I called him and said, "Dude, quit trying to scare me and come help me feed." "Right away," he replied. "What do you mean? I'm inside." Then I noticed when I called Aiden, the figure didn't even move. Not an inch. This confirmed I did not know who it was. Aiden heard my voice shake a bit and realized what was going on. He said again, "Bro, I'm inside. That's not me." Keep in mind, the whole time I was on the phone with Aiden, I was watching this dark figure, but I hung up and looked right at it with my full attention. After a moment, it got up and started jogging away. My heart dropped with fear and anxiety. I started running toward it and yelling at it to slow down and to reveal themselves. I chased it all the way to the back of Aiden's house. That's when Aiden came out and started looking for it too. I saw a glimpse of it jumping over some boxes in tall grass. What happened next completely freaked me out. It jumped over our 6-foot fence like nothing. As it flew through the air, I got a better look at it. It was around 6'5" and lengthy. I chased after it over the fence, then ran it down the gravel road. Around this time, something strange started happening to me. Everything was becoming darker. I was losing my vision. By the time I got to the edge of our property, my vision went almost completely black. Meanwhile, I'm still yelling at this figure and jogging towards him. I went down the little hill and saw him looking directly at me. His eyes were wide open like golf balls and white as snow. That was the last thing I saw before I collapsed on the ground, hyperventilating and freaking the hell out. I couldn't wrap my head around what was happening. At some point, Aiden came down the hill to get me. I could still barely see, but he told me the figure was long gone. After he helped me get to my feet, we made our way back to the barn with the horses to finish feeding them. I was still shaken up and needed to do something normal, like chores, to calm down. I slowly got my vision back as well, but I still didn't feel quite right. After everything was done, I went inside to get ready for bed, hoping that was the end of it. But then around 2:30 inches the morning, I woke up seemingly to nothing at all. I must have been awake for around 15 seconds before I heard my downstairs window open. That night, I slept with my door open for some reason. That's why I heard it so clear. I was still half asleep, so I wasn't sure if my mind was playing tricks on me. Not until I heard heavy footsteps coming up the stairs, I felt my heart drop. I bolted out of bed and got my dad's 9mm from my drawer. He always left it with me, just in case something like this ever happened. Below, the steps were getting closer and heavier. Then they stopped right at my door. I was standing at the foot of my bed with a gun pointed towards the door frame. My heart was beating so fast I felt like it was going to come out of my chest. I then heard them walk right inside my room. They stepped towards me and stopped around a foot away, but there wasn't anything or anyone. All I was hearing was footsteps. I thought I was going to go blind with madness again, but then I heard them slowly back away. I kept the gun pointed in their direction until they left the room. Then suddenly everything went quiet. No wind blowing, no crickets, frogs, nothingness. After 5 minutes, I lay back down. I didn't end up going to sleep after everything. I just stayed up praying for the rest of the night. I've never had anything like this happen to me before or since, and I still have no way to explain it. I just hope it never happens again.